Heartbreak. And like I said, once again, these are the officially unofficial stats that are rarely unofficial.
Unofficially. We have Saligator and Carnage Patch Kid. Looks like the lines are taking a little space lining up. Big hit from Malice Paul. However, it was considered direction of gameplay, a clockwise block on Saligator.
Carnage Patch Kid picks up her 8th lead jam status of the game.
And it appears we do have another blocker for Granite State off to the box, while Kelly Boyer is released. Seems to be the hop in place right now. That's okay. We all have those moments.
Saligator puts 5 points on the board. Carnage puts 4 points on the board. Carnage Patch Kid with 20 points and 8 lead jam status, which is kind of off filter. But Havana Heartbreak only has 2 lead jam status with 27. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you do have the lead jam. It's important. But sometimes your defense can hold the other jammer, and you could score some points.
Exactly. And then, of course, when power jams come into play,
absolutely,
that really can just turn everything on its head. On the track, get a little speed in the pack. Dorcas Maximus fighting it out, trying to get past that last line of defense, a 2-wall up front.
Does. 5th time lead jammer for Dorcas, the Belle of Bayonne.
And we have a full line of blockers for Mass Attack. Dorcas Maximus trying to get past number 15. Angie O'Nasty hits the floor, but gets right back up. Scoots around on those toe stops, managing to get slightly recycled, passes, and makes the call.
Amazing footwork there by Dorcas.
Granite State had a star pass there, but she wasn't able, Boyer wasn't able to get it on. And they called it off before they could maximize it.
So no maximizing, courtesy of Dorcas Maximus. And that 5 points from Dorcas Maximus puts Mass Attack over the century mark. So now Granite State is in the lead at 167 to Mass Attack's 103.
Chip away. That's going to be Mass Attack's strategy here. 4 or 5 and quit.
Indeed.
This is where lead jam status is important. Take the lead jam, sneak through 4 or 5, call off.
Well,
but that doesn't happen here as Taz takes lead jam status for the 8th time in this game. Nice little spin move by Taz, working on another spin move.
Kiltrossi really hustling, trying to cut through that pack, manages to get around, gets past Taz. So we'll see if the call comes before Kil can pick up any points. It all depends on the plans of Granite State. And that was called by Taz. It appears 4 points put up, bringing their score to 171 to Mass Attack's 103. 13 minutes, 51 seconds remain in the game. We have Saligator lined up with Havana Heartbreak.
Another jammer matchup that I really, really like here.
Yes, you're a fan?
I'm a fan.
Okay, awesome.
This is going to be good.
I'm glad both. I think that Havana and Saligator would appreciate those comments.
I appreciate watching them as Havana Heartbreak takes lead jam for the 3rd time. As looks like we have Mass Attack on her way. Looks like we have Gracie on her way to the penalty box. And it looks like we have a 0-0 frame here.
Okay, and it appears we do have a team timeout for Mass Attack. So while we wait, let's take a look at some things. What do we have on those stats? Who would you say is on your unofficial stats?
Official stats that are rarely officially unofficial.
We appreciate those, though.
Oh,
we
no
really
problem.
do.
Even though she hasn't come back into the second half, Boots is still the points getter with 65. Taz with 56. Saligator with 40. Then we got Carnage Patch Kids with 20. Dorcas Maximus 22. Havana Heartbreak, the leader for her team at 27.
Nice. It's incredible to see the impact Granite State's defense paired with their deep jammer bench, just to see the impact they can have to retain this lead. So, and they are all about fun. We can see this really great, fun teamwork exercise that they're doing out on the track, shaking it off and getting themselves refocused. Returning to our next jam, that's M-Bomber lining up against Carnage Patch Kid.
And it looks like
That was Gracie and Raging Grace with
Raging
Mass Attack.
Grace.
She is fouled out of the game, so we won't see her anymore on the track this time around. It does appear that Carnage Patch Kid picked up a penalty, leaving M-Bomber and Granite State with the power jam. But the Mar defense right up front, Torpedo and Death by Sugar, really doing their best to extend that pack and detain M-Bomber as long as possible. Sugar Rush going right to that 20-foot mark. Regrouping, and M-Bomber has lead. We have a 4-on-4 jam in the pack. And despite the efforts of Mass Attack, M-Bomber breaks free. And a star stash from Carnage Patch Kid upon her return. She will not put any points up.
Granite State adding 4 to the score, with Granite State 176, Mass Attack 103, 11:41 left in the game as Dorcas Maximus and Taz approaching the jam line for their respective teams. Looks like we got one from each team in the penalty box, so 4-on-4 situation here.
Yes, and that includes Mass Attack's pivot, Bombshell Shock.
Yes.
Despite a big push from the GSRD defense, they are unable to sweep Dorcas Maximus to the infield. She is seriously right on the booty of Taz, but Taz flips right around.
Taz, naturally fast, saw that Dorcas was behind her, got faster, tried to block, but Dorcas moved around and said, "No, I'm not dealing with this."
and they just did a high five coming off the track, the two of them, Dorcas and Taz,
Well,
because she knew. She was right there. She's like, "Oh, hi, friend."
"What's up, buddy? I'm right behind you." "Well, okay, I'm calling it off. What do you think of that?"
Yeah, and just something I'm witnessing right now. Both of these teams, both Granite State and Mass Attack, they have an incredibly positive league culture, independently of themselves. But they're just great, and there's so much excellent attitude on the bench. You could see right off the line, Saligator and Death by Sugar having a little chat and lots of smiles.
It's always good to see that.
It is. Okay, at that jam's end, which there were goose eggs on the scoreboard, we have 176 GSRD to 103 Mass Attack. 10 minutes remain. M-Bomber and Carnage Patch Kid facing off once again. We have one Granite State blocker. That is 369 Kelly Ripper to shreds.
Their pivot, so looks like Granite State down a pivot as the 19th jam of the game of the second half starts.
Some fierce wall work coming from A-Radiskator and Bombshell Shock, joined by Torpedo, really trying to hold M-Bomber, but not enough as she jukes by on the outside. Carnage not far behind. We have Granite State picking up just 1 point.
And that was the first point scored in several minutes, as the last two jams were 0-0.
And just to give you a little bit of information about the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, since this is a WFTDA recognized tournament, the WFTDA has 369 member leagues and 76 apprentice leagues spanning 6 continents, and all of the teams participating in Coastal Chaos 2016 are member leagues. Back to that jam, we've got Keltrosity from Mass Attack up against Forrest, aka Taz, from Granite State. Both really having to do battle with those walls, but Taz emerges first.
Lead jam status, 10th time for her. She's really putting up an amazing game so far.
Indeed. And she rest in peace off to the penalty box for Mass Attack.
It appears Mass Attack has a panty stash. She's not actually handing it off right here.
Yes, Kiltrosity has stashed the helmet cover, however, picked up a penalty. Was that a cutting the track penalty we witnessed?
That's what it looks like. Looks like track cut called on Kiltrosity.
And it appears Pixie Sticks will follow. I didn't catch the call for her, but nonetheless, Taz is taking full advantage. Currently, their score is 187. That's my Derby number, by the way, for Granite State. 10 points, 15 points thus far, courtesy of Taz. We have some chaos coming from a Granite State blocker, just driving apart the remaining Mass Attack defense. Kiltrosity returning from the penalty box, still with the cover stash. Mind you, her pivot is in the penalty box, so passing the star is not an option at the moment.
That star.
We have many of the skaters from the different.
Kiltrosity immediately goes back to the penalty box. Did not get the call on that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Before I said
No,
it,
that's totally okay because that happened very sudden. And Pixie Sticks meeting that unfortunate floor right at Jam's end.
It is a very unforgiving floor.
Yes, unforgiving. 2:06 Granite State after a 29-point jam, courtesy of Taz, to Mass Attack's 103. 6 minutes, 28 seconds remain.
And that right there makes Taz your point leader at 85 points for the game. Saligator here has a power start. And you're right, she just kind of has this zigzag. It's like a pinball flipper. It keeps hitting her back and forth.
Exactly. And we had a close call there right before the whistle. The helmet cover for Pivot had landed on the floor for Mass Attack. And Dorcas Maximus, thankfully, she grabbed it quickly. However, after placing it on her head, she was advised that it was grabbed too late. She had to remove it, so there was not a pivot fielded for Mass Attack at this time.
Saligator putting up 5 points as the Granite State lead keeps growing. And yet another
It was a cutting the track penalty
track
on
cut
Kiltrosity.
She really wanted to hand that cover off to Dorcas, and Dorcas is like, no, I can't take it. I can't take it.
It's not legal, so Dorcas, thankfully, she's an excellent communicator, and despite the big hit from Dorcas on the outside to Saligator, she just propelled off of Dorcas and kept going in her path. It's just amazing to see that use of power.
as these double-digit point jams for Granite State just keeps the lead growing.
A direction of gameplay call on Pixie Sticks. She is off to the penalty box. Kiltrosity returning to the track, getting caught in the gridlock of Granite State's
It looked
defense.
like that wall was tumbling down right on Saligator. But as Tom Petty says, even walls fall down.
That's true, but he won't back down.
No.
No.
Well,
Nice job.
maybe if he's running down a dream.
You like that, huh? How he took Tom Petty and ran with it.
I really enjoy Tom Petty, so
Yes.
Who doesn't?
I've been trying to figure out how well. Now that you've said that, I'm like, okay, what else can I throw in there?
Because they're free falling.
Free falling. Well, if you get hit by a Derby player, you go free falling.
Yes.
And that's your last dance with Mary Jane.
Indeed.
Seriously,
That was really rough. There's no other way to put that in there.
Seriously, what fool decided to give us live mics?
You don't know how it feels, friends. You don't know how it feels. But know who knows what it feels like to be lead jammer? It is M-Bomber. She has outskated Havana Heartbreak at the moment.
Which is not an easy thing to do that
No,
I've seen.
not at all. OM Jin, you dig it, right?
I do. It's great. I love it.
You know what? Always just about fun, because roller derby is fun. And that is
right.
exactly, just good roller derby and a lot of fun here with Nerd Derby and WFTDA.tv.
And if we amuse other people, that's cool. If not, we just want to amuse ourselves.
That's right.
Yes. And it's better to be easily amused than joyless.
Yes.
An M-Bomber meeting that front wall of Dorcas, Maximus, Pixie, Sticks, and Trouble's Braids. Trouble dropping a bridge, trying to keep that no-pack from being called. M-Bomber getting recycled into the pack. And Havana Heartbreak is able to break free. She does have a no pass, no penalty, but I do believe there were 3 points on the last pass. And there is a power jam now due to a high block called on M-Bomber. So that leaves this in the hands of Mass Attack and Havana Heartbreak. She put her hands up to preload a call off, but it doesn't appear that we have a lead jammer. We have a little chaos created in the pack to assist Vanna, but she is swept to the infield by Lil Something and Holy Bacamole.
And this is a perfect opportunity for Havana Heartbreak to get some points back into Mass Attack's bank.
She has very limited time because M-Bomber is standing in the penalty box. And an apex jump, putting 3 more on the board for Havana Heartbreak.
And it looks like M-Bomber was released before the natural conclusion of that jam, so looks like we're starting off the next jam.
And that was 22 points for Havana Heartbreak. Huge at this point in the game. We have just shy of a minute and a half left on the game clock. 249 points, Granite State, to 125, Mass Attack.
And Havana Heartbreak with that 22 gets her total up to 49 points.
I do believe that puts her in front for point scores on Mass Attack.
On Mass Attack by a big bunch.
Excellent. And
Taz once again takes lead jammer. Her 11th time, 85 points.
Carnage Patch Kid really trying to work past Rachel Taylor, given those sassy shoulders in the backwards block. It appears a high block is being called on Rachel Taylor. And Dorcas, Maximus, Torpedo, and Bombshell Shock putting in work to hold back Taz.
Nice spin move by Taz on the inside track, puts up 4 points for Granite State.
And a big hit coming from Boyer, taking Carnage Patch Kid to the inside, taking her back just a little bit. Appears a multiplayer block called on Bombshell Shock. And 5 points for Carnage Patch Kid.
And it looks like the game clock is about to expire to 0, which means the jam clock will take over, which means it either goes the full 2 or Taz calls it off, which is what she did. And our unofficial total we are looking at right now, we won't announce anything until it is official. I will give some stats that are officially unofficial. We got Saligator with 69 points, Boots with 65 points, M-Bomber with 20 points, Kiltrosity with 12 points, Havana Heartbreak with 49 points, Dorcas Maximus with 22 points, Carnage Patch Kid with 27 points, and it looks like Taz with 11 lead jams and 97 points.
Wow.
What a game.
Just amazing to see. And That is it. The score is finalized. Granite State Roller Derby taking the win, 260 points to Mass Attacks 132. Hard-fought game by all. We will see what's coming up next. Stay tuned for Fredericksburg Roller Derby taking on New Hampshire Roller Derby. Thank you for watching at 2016's Coastal Chaos Tournament, presented by the Rock Coast Rollers and brought to your screen by New England Roller Derby Report and WFTDA TV. My name's Beautiful Banshee.
New Jersey Night.
Yes, and we will be back.